mayor, city attorney, chief of staff, our deputy clerk, administrative staff in the audience, and those that are here in tonight's meeting. Today is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and this is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Study Session. This meeting is to discuss the proposed amendment for storage and recreational vehicles, commercial vehicles, and automobiles in residential districts. At this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Barden. Excused.
He's excused.
Okay. Councilman Kraft.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe. Here. Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
And Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Tonight's special meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, roll call. Number 2, agenda. Number 3, discussion zoning text amendment, section 3.06, parking and storage of recreational vehicles, commercial vehicles, and automobiles in residential districts. Number 4 is public comment, and number 5 is adjournment, and a motion will be in order to accept tonight's special meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe for the approval of this special study session agenda as presented. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Here.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Takes us to number 3, discussion, and I'm not sure who's going to lead the discussion. All right, opening the
I'll do
discussion is our
the-
city attorney.
I'll do an introduction of it. You can probably recall that last year, I think it was around August, July, August, council had raised some questions based on comments from the public about the parking of recreational and commercial vehicles, particularly in the streets. And we indicated that the legislation with regards to that ordinance was in the zoning ordinance. Since it was part of the zoning ordinance, under the law, the Planning Commission has to make recommendations to you before you can adopt changes to the zoning ordinance. So this was sent to the Planning Commission. They met more than 1 month where they discussed this and finally came up with the draft that you have before you as to the regulation of recreational vehicles and commercial vehicles and where they can be parked and can't be parked and what time periods. There's some highlighted on the draft that you got, which indicates those were definitely changes that were made to what was already existing, because we did have an ordinance in the zoning ordinance that covered this subject matter. So I don't know if there's any questions that you have. We also have both Jeff Kemp and Carol Mays here that can answer questions if you need them.
Just in addition to, another reason we looked at this is because if you remember the conversations that went on at that time, the no parking in a fire lane really didn't solve the problem. It didn't get down to the root of the problem that we were having in this specific instance. So we wanted to look at the ordinance and how do we modify it in a way that it takes care of the issue. If you remember, it was a commercial vehicle and a utility trailer being parked and making it difficult for somebody to navigate. Well, the commercial vehicle, there was no way to prove it was a commercial vehicle. It was a residential vehicle. They took the magnet, it was used on a day-to-day basis, so you couldn't write against that. The issue was getting the trailer that was obviously a utility trailer and using a commercial use off the road. So we started looking at different ways to take care of that issue. And that's what Jeff and Carol worked with the Planning Commission and came up with some solutions here to bring the council to both hear input and discuss it with you. So that's why we switched gears on this one. It was really about trying to find a way to custom fit and address this specific issue. And we didn't feel that was going to get done through the fire lane. So that's why we're here.
So the way this is worded, it would address that very example you just spoke about. It would address that with this text that's in here?
I believe so.
Okay.
Jeff, are you going to lead on this, or?
Tina.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Wadsworth, I'm sorry.
Let me ask the attorney if I'm right or wrong in this, but don't we have something on the book that says that they can be up to 24 feet, but they have to be stored at the rear of the property?
Well,
and they can be temporarily out front to unload and load?
that's in this, here, this language too.
No.
This is 32 feet.
Yeah, that's, okay.
Yeah, 32 feet is the magic number.
It's not,
It's not
it's
24.
not 24 anymore. It used to be 24, am I right?
The main
It's
difference,
27.
the main difference here that we had before is between 5 PM at night and 5 AM in the morning, you can't park these vehicles in the road. And the logic of that was, hopefully if you got them off the road by 5 PM, and then the cars coming home from work that day, trying to get in their driveways, wouldn't have to deal with recreational vehicles or trailers parked in the roadway in their way. And part of the problem is that on a lot of subdivisions, the driveways are staggered. So right across the street from you could be a house that their driveway's offset from where your driveway is. So when you're backing out of your driveway or trying to pull in your driveway, there could be a vehicle parked right off the end of your driveway on the other side of the road that could be interfering with your ability to turn in, turn out of your parking lot. So that's, some of this was cleanup to make sure we were covering all the various kinds of vehicles too. Because I noticed when we did the draft, looked at the draft of the ordinance, what was in place, it talked about recreational vehicles, for example, but it didn't specifically talk about trailers and boats and converted buses, which we added in here too, because nowadays some people buy buses that are no longer used for commercial transportation of people and convert them into a recreational vehicle. So that's the gist of it.
Any discussion
Okay, I'm
from
done,
council?
thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Good evening, council. Yeah, I just wanted to, looking through this ordinance and everything and working on it, I know at planning commission, they were concerned about a few different things, like people with normal size cars that might have a sticker on the car that's not, like, doesn't necessarily make it a commercial vehicle, but it meets, that's their everyday driver, and they can still park it in their driveway, and that doesn't affect
Yeah.
any of that. Now with the trailers and utility trailers, like, it's no trailers in the front, no trailers in the right of way at all. And, as far as the recreational vehicles, 32 feet, now if somebody has a recreational trailer, they can, in their house is laid out in a way, and they have a big enough yard, they can keep it in the back where it's supposed to be, not in the rear setback or any of the required setbacks, then they can have that up to like the ordinance says. But the trailers in the front and the right of way are not allowed at all. They can be allowed for like from 5 PM from 5 PM to 9 AM. They can be allowed if there's, if somebody's working on the house and they're there during the day, or if somebody's going camping, or they pull a trailer in the driveway for 24 hours to load it if they're moving or something. But other than that, somebody can't just park it there every night.
Gotcha. Any discussion from council? I'm just a little surprised that there's not more people here, because I thought we had a resident come a few weeks ago and address this very thing. That's just my comment. I'm just a little bit shocked, but thank you, Jeff.
Okay. If there's no more discussion, takes us to number 4, public comment. And this is the portion on the agenda for those who are in the audience that would like to address the city council concerning tonight's agenda. You may do so. Please raise your hand after acknowledged by our chairperson. Approach the podium, we ask you to state your name, and you will have 3 minutes to speak. Madam Chair, we have not received any written requests to speak under public comment.
Okay. Is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak on this matter regarding zoning ordinance at this time? Guess we can close that out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Takes us to number 5, adjournment.
So moved to adjourn.
Support. Is the motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Abdo, to adjourn this study session special meeting. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned.
The next special meeting will begin at 6:30. And that is a close.
6:45.
Or 6:30, yeah.
Yeah, 6:45.
I'm sorry, 6:45.
45,
I'm looking
okay.
at two different things.
Thank you.